Alright, so I want to start this video by just clarifying that I have never played Pokemon X and Y, so I don't have any sort of history or background with those games. I don't know who any of the characters are from those titles, and I know a couple of them. I believe like Az, the really tall dude, is from the original games, and he's also in this one, but regardless, I have played a lot of Pokemon. I have not played that generation in particular, so there might be moments where I bring up characters from that game that I'm not aware of. It's just something to keep in mind. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started, talk about Pokemon Legends, and I think we should just get this out of the way. Are you ready? Price bad, graphics bad, gameplay good. There you go. That's 90% of the comment section, but no. I'll actually go into detail now, but that kind of is the gist of Pokemon Legends ZA. Price bad, graphics bad, gameplay good. That really is kind of the gist of the game. Let's just get started with the character customization. And it's not really something I thought I would go into that much detail or really bring up in a video like this, but the games have been doing character customization for a while now, and I was actually a bit surprised at how limited this customization was. I even remember, I think even like Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus had way more options with how you could make your character look, where this game, there's really not much. Like, yeah, you can change eye color, there's a couple of different hairstyles, and there's just not much. There's very, very little, which isn't a big deal, I guess, but it really sets the tone for the entire game. Like, the whole thing feels very, very unpolished. It's a sloppy game, it's an ugly game, but it still can be fun. But anyway, let's keep going into it. So yeah, character customization leaves a little to be desired. The voice acting, I would say a little to be desired too, but in fact, there's just none. And, you know, this is typical. Nintendo just doesn't like doing voice acting. I mean, they've really only gotten into it with Breath of the Wild and voicing Zelda, and a few characters from those games, from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but outside of that, Nintendo games really don't have voice acting. And while I think to an extent there is a charm to it that Nintendo hasn't evolved, even though everyone else has when it comes to that, I think when you get to the point where you have mouth animations in your cutscenes, it's time to hire some voice actors, okay? Like, come on, Pokemon Company. You have a $2 gajillion. Let's stop being cheap. Hire the voice actors, all right? It's time to do it. It's getting pathetic at this point. Like, again, you animate the mouths. Like, just what are we doing here? Just freaking hire them. It's not that difficult. You have the resources to do it. Just freaking do it. And I guess we'll go into the graphics, and I really don't want to go into that much detail about it because so many people have already talked about it. But, like, yeah, they don't look very great. They never have for these 3D Pokemon games. Like, I think the games looked fine on, like, 3DS. I would say, like, X and Y and Sun and Moon. Like, for the 3DS, the games look okay. But ever since they switched to the Switch 1, the games have just looked very, very dated. And while I do think this is technically the nicest looking Pokemon game, it's still not a very great looking game in general. And the issue is that there's just not enough detail to really anything. Like, the entire environment, everything surrounding you is just super bare bones. And of course, people have been talking about like the JPEG like buildings and the JPEG windows and stuff. And yeah, it just looks like crap. It looks really, really bad. It was funny. I think I was watching an RGT video, and he made a really good point that the game almost looks like it comes from the freaking Dreamcast. And I can't get that picture out of my mind now. Like, go back to Sonic Adventure 2 and then go to this game. They look very similar. It's actually insane that a Dreamcast game is comparable to a 2025 Pokemon game. That is really, really sad. But yeah, like I said, I mean, the game overall does look cleaner than Legends Arceus, but the bar is so low, it's hard to say that it's that much better. But I do want to give at least a little bit of credit to, like, the 3D models. I think they look okay. The main issue really is just the environment. It's really hard to get immersed when the models really kind of, like, stick out and look better than everything else in the entire game. And also the Pokemon animations are, like, fairly decent. They're not, like, incredible, but they're not bad. And I did also like the Mega Evolving animation. I think that looks really good. I would even say like the gym leader. Well, they're not really gym leaders. I guess the rank leaders, whatever you want to call them. Also, their animations when they're like, you know, taunting you and throwing out Pokeballs, those all look really nice too. It's just so weird. Like, I feel like I say the same thing for every single modern Pokemon game. The animation looks great in a couple of areas. It looks great for the Pokemon and the trainers and sometimes your character. And then everything else just looks like shit. It's just strange that these games always focus on the same things and choose to also not focus on the same things. It's very bizarre. But yeah, I think that's enough crapping on the game. I do want to talk about the things that I do like about it, because there is actually a lot that I do like about Legends EA, and maybe that's a hot take or something. I don't think the entire thing is garbage. I just think it is incredibly unpolished and probably not worth the cost. But I want to talk about the battles, because that is the biggest gimmick, and it's basically just real-time battling. So I guess kind of like a Xenoblade or a Monster Hunter. It's very, very similar to that. And I actually think this is really, really cool. It's very, very different feeling to the traditional turn-based gameplay. And that's just because the overall game feels much faster. It feels a lot smoother because you're not like waiting for the text to finish saying, oh, this move was super effective. Oh, you've been put to sleep. Like, what's happening is your attacks and that text happens at the same time. Wow, that's crazy that it happens at the same time now. It's something that like Pokemon Showdown's been doing for like years, but hey, the Pokemon company, Game Freak, is finally doing it too, so that's great. And what's really interesting about the real time is that you're forced to play Pokemon very differently. Like, you have to play more reactively, I guess I should say, because a lot of times when you're playing a game like this, you'll kind of like look at your moves, you really pay attention to your opponent, what moves they have, what would be like the best like strategy in terms of like, maybe I want to stun them with a sleep powder or something, or try to paralyze them first before attacking, you know. It's hard to like try to think about what to do while everything is kind of happening. Like for me, I'm a very button mashy Pokemon player. I'm super casual about it. Like, I will sometimes go through the effort and you know, actually try to use more strategy when I'm playing, but a lot of times it's like, oh, I'm just going to spam all the attack moves. That's just how I like playing Pokemon. And again, I don't always play that way, but for this game, it really incentivizes you to play like that, because while you can still use like defensive moves, you can still put Pokemon to sleep, you can burn them and stuff, it just happens so quickly. And because there's no power points, there's a cooldown system now. You're actually also incentivized to use all of your moves while you're waiting for some other move to cool down. And the way that the cooldown works is integrated really well. So strong attacks have a longer cooldown period, weaker attacks have a shorter period. So it's very, very similar to, you know, how the regular games work, because the strongest attacks in the turn-based games just have like less PowerPoint moves. So the translation from less PowerPoint moves to longer cooldown, more PowerPoint moves, shorter cooldown, it works perfectly. And it makes a really, really fun gameplay loop. But now I do want to kind of talk about the general objective to the game, and that's basically that you want to go from rank Z to rank A. And to do that, you're going to be fighting a bunch of trainers in these specific ranks. And it starts off pretty basic, but as you get deeper into the game, the story starts to open up a bit, and it'll start to get a bit more interesting. So I guess like technically there's not really gym leaders, but that is the general idea. Go from rank Z to rank A, hence the name of the game, yada, yada, yada. And on top of that, there is a day and nighttime cycle, and these are actually a lot more similar than I thought they'd be, but there are some differences. The main one is that when it turns to nighttime, a random part of the map will turn into a battle zone, and this is where you'll collect points to get your ticket to be able to apply to fight the next rank. And again, the rank is basically just like gym battles. It's kind of the same idea. And during the day, you can go to wild zones. The thing is, you can do wild zones at nighttime too, but during the day, you'll typically want to go to a wild zone. That's where you'll catch Pokemon, and that's where you can also complete your main missions usually. I mean, you can complete them at any point, but again, the nighttime, you want to focus on going to the battle zones. But anyway, daytime, you catch Pokemon, you complete missions. And then something else to mention too, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but with the battle zones, there's also these bonus cards. And basically, this is a way to make the battle zone matches a little bit more interesting, as they have requirements for you to get more points as you're playing. So like as an example, you might be able to find a battle card that says defeat a Pokemon with a fire attack, or sneak up to a Pokemon as while you're Mega Evolved or something like that. So it really forces you to use a bunch of your team, try out a bunch of different Pokemon. And yeah, like I said, the general gameplay loop is a lot of fun, and it is very addicting. So it's like no matter how bad the game looks and how bad the presentation is, the gameplay core loop is still fun. They pull it off every time. It's still a fun game to play. And catching Pokemon is very fluid, just like it is in Legends Arceus. You can sneak up, hide in grass. And it's what's really cool about the game too is I don't remember if it was like this in Legends Arceus or not, but in this game there's this like little bar that you can see around the Pokemon as you go up to it, and the higher the bar is, the more likely it is that you'll be able to catch it. And I think that's very interesting that you can do that. And something else that's very different too is you can actually completely beat down an opponent, get it down to 0 HP, and then it's basically stunned for like a few seconds. And at that point, you can throw a Pokeball and you basically just catch it. And it's not a guarantee, but it increases the odds a lot. And I just think it's really, really cool that you have the option of taking a risk, trying to battle it without fighting it, or you can fight it, increase your odds, but you also might take damage and all that good stuff. So yeah, catching Pokemon feels great. The battles are a really, really fun change of pace. And I also just want to give a shout out to Insane in the Rain. He is a music YouTuber / creator. And over the past few years, he has really expanded beyond just making YouTube video game covers. He's been making music for a bunch of different games. And he announced that he was the arranger for Pokemon Legends ZA. And I just think that is just an insane achievement. I mean, that's just freaking awesome. If you have not heard a single song from Insane in the Rain, I recommend go check him out after the video. He makes absolutely beautiful video game covers. Super, super talented dude, and he absolutely deserved it. And it's so cool because before I realized that he was the arranger, I've been listening to the music in the game, and I'm like, you know, some of this sounds a little bit familiar. And it's like, oh my god, I can actually hear his style while playing the game. And it's like, it's super surreal because I've been listening to Insane in the Rain for a long time. So big shout outs to you, Carlos. I doubt you'll watch this, but if you do, I think you did a fantastic job with the game. And I think out of all the songs, you know, all of them are a lot of, or what am I trying to say? All the songs are really, really nice. My favorite one, I think, is probably the Battle Zone Trainer theme. I love how the song starts. It's got like this really, really catchy bass lick. It's like, it's, oh my god, it's so good. Kane, you got to add the song while I'm talking about it. I'll try to find it for you. But anyway, no, the music's great in the game. Absolutely fantastic job. Okay, so let's move on to something else. I want to talk about the Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon. This is something else that'll happen while you're playing. You're not just going from day and night and getting tickets. Obviously, a little more happens beyond that. The Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon, it's very similar to, I guess like the best way to describe it is it kind of reminds me of Gigantamax fighting from Sword and Shield, where you're just like in this huge arena and you're fighting a big old Pokemon, and you just have to bash away at it for what feels like forever. Obviously, it's not the same thing because it's not turn-based. You know, you're running around avoiding the rogue Pokemon's attacks. And, well, I do find this to be kind of fun. I think the idea is really cool. These fights really start to drag on after a while. I mean, it can take up to like 15 minutes to do one of them. And, of course, like, it's going to depend on like what Pokemon you bring into the fight. Like, for me, I only had a couple Pokemon, or at this point, I only have a couple Pokemon with Mega Stones, and you really want to go into these with Mega Pokemon because as you're fighting the rogue monsters, they're going to drop these little like orb things, and that builds up your Mega Stone meter, and you can use that to Mega Evolve whoever or whichever Pokemon you have that has the Mega Stone. So, yeah, I don't know. These are just fine. Like, it's a good way to break up the game a little bit, but they kind of drag it on. Okay, let's go on to Lumio City. This has been another talking point a lot of people have been bringing up, and that the city feels very small. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. The city itself is like painfully tiny. You could probably do a circle around it in like 10 minutes. Like, literally, that is how small it is. And apparently, the reason for this is that the entire map is loaded all at the same time. And that's also why the graphics look so bad, because the game was running really crappy otherwise. If that's true, which I do believe that is true, I just have to ask, whose idea was it to design the game this way? Like, who would design the game this way? Like, why would you have parts of the map loaded in when you can't see them? Like, I'm sorry, but this is objectively bad design, and I really think it harmed the game a lot. Like, I actually really like the idea of exploring a big city and being able to, like, really go into it, learn the streets. You know, it's something I even like to do in real life. Like, I've been to New York City quite a few times, and that city is just so massive. You could spend weeks living there, just being there, and you won't even see everything. And they could have done something like that with Lumio City. Really make it big, add in a bunch of super distinct and memorable areas. But no, there's just none of that. And to make it even worse, like, you can't even really leave the city and go anywhere else. Like, even the Pokemon centers are in the city. You don't go into a building. They're just built in. Like, it's just, like, you can't even go into half of the houses. Like, as an example, like, if you wanted to change your clothing or something, there's just, like, a menu that pops up, and then you change it. Like, you don't go into a building anymore. Like, it's just so lazy. I don't know. It's, like, it's not technically the only place. There is also a sewer system that you'll explore at one point, but that's very, very, like, it's maybe 5% of the game. Like, at least as far as I've played, I don't think there's much else beyond that, and that's just crazy to me. And I also want to talk about the NPCs because, my God, they're sure there. You know, most of them, they're just kind of standing around. They don't do anything, so just the fact that the city itself is so small, the NPC characters just don't move much. The whole thing just feels very, very lifeless. And honestly, maybe I could forgive some of this if exploring the city was more enjoyable, but even that isn't very fun to do. Well, I would say the general movement is fine. I like that with, I actually like that with running. You don't have to hold the B button. You could just push B and you'll just constantly run. That's really nice. And the roll move is also nice. But when it comes to actually exploring the city and doing, like, roof hopping, as you'd expect, you know, we're in a city. Roof hopping should be very easy and instinctive. No, that's just not how it works. So while I would say that the map itself to explore is significantly better compared to Scarlet and Violet, and fast traveling is nice too, you don't have a jump button. There is literally no way to jump in this game. So when you try to run from rooftop to rooftop, sometimes you can climb parts of the roof if they're short enough, and then sometimes you can't. Like, you can kind of tell as you're going, like, what parts are climbable and what aren't, but it just kind of sucks that, like, you can't just, like, jump up and that there's not more freedom to, like, move around. And yes, technically, when you get later on into the game, you'll eventually unlock the option to kind of roof hop with the Rotom, because with Rotom, you'll unlock this, like, little mid-air jump thing, and it's, like, super clunky and awkward, and it's only one jump, and you barely have any control of it. It's just not fun to navigate the city when it really should be. And you know what's crazy is that the previous Legend game, Legends Arceus, solved the problem because you could fly in that game. And granted, you couldn't fly immediately, but, like, the fact that you could fly in that game, there's nothing like that in this one. Like, why can I at least not jump? Like, I feel like I should at least be able to jump. I don't know. Maybe it's something I haven't unlocked yet, but I kind of doubt it. I just wish that exploring the city, I just kind of, again, I love the whole idea of it, but the execution is just so poorly done. And it's so unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. Okay, let's move on to the story. I'm not going to have much to say about it. I mean, it's Pokemon. Usually these games don't have super interesting stories. You know, it's fine. I do like some of the characters in the game. I really like all of my allies with TMZ. Some of the leaders are really nice too. Especially, Kanari's really cool. I like that Kanari is literally just a modern day like live streamer. And you know, it is very interesting seeing a character like that in Pokemon Legends EA, because every time stuff like this happens, there was also a live streamer, I think, in Scarlet and Violet too. I forgot, I think her name was Iono or something like that. But every time I see this, all I can think of is Pokemon games are so stuck in the past, but they're also so caught up with what exists in the modern world simultaneously. And it's like, so weird. I mean, the game, you can't jump, but they have a freaking streamer as a character. Like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, but you know, sure. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the bulk of the game. I'm trying to think. There might be a couple other things worth bringing up. I guess I could talk about the side quest missions. These are fine. I haven't done a lot of them. I did a lot of them at the beginning of the game, but as I started to get deeper in, I've been skipping them. But I'll probably go back and do a few more of them. I would say the side missions are kind of hit and miss. A lot of these are literally just battles, which is kind of lame. But some of them are okay, where you'll do like side quest stuff. There's one that I'm working on right now. I think there's a flower Pokemon called Floret or something. And the side quest is to find every single colored flower. Like Floret has like a bunch of different flower colors. I think there's like red, orange, yellow, blue, and white or something. There's like 5 or 6 different colors or something. So there's missions like that are really fun. And then a lot of them is like, oh, let's trade Pokemon, or hey, I want to see this Pokemon, show me a Mega Evolved. So like, they're fine. They're just fine. But there's something that's really weird about these side missions, and also just the way that the game just kind of runs in general, that I'm not seeing a lot of people bring up, that I find to be very annoying. This game has a lot of loading when it doesn't need it. Like, just as an example, when you're doing one of these side quest missions, if you're about to battle someone, let's say you talk to the guy, they say, hey, do you want to battle? Then you say yes. They're like, okay, great. Instead of just battling them right away, you'll get the side quest mission popping up. The game will fade to black. It'll come back, and then you have to run up to them again and confirm that you actually want to battle. And like, I kind of get it, because sometimes you just want to like start a side quest mission and finish it later. But I think the option to just be able to begin the mission immediately instead of being forced to like select it again is a little bizarre. And I don't know. I just feel like it would have been a little bit better if some of these side missions you could at least start immediately. At least give us the option to do that. I feel like that would have been nice. And it's kind of like that with like the main mission too. Like, there are so many times where, especially at the beginning of the game, where it's like, okay, you talk to a character for a little bit, a minute or two, and then the next part, where the game will give you like a navigation pointer to run like 5 meters in front of you. You do that, talk to the character again, they run forward 20 meters, run up to them again, the game stops, they talk to you again. That happens throughout the whole game, and it's not like as bad later on. Like, you're not going to get as much slowdown, but it does occur throughout the entire game, and I just kind of wish it was a little bit more seamless. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. So, yeah. Okay, well, I guess at this point, you know, why not? Let's just kind of like wrap this video up. Look, Legends EA, what does this game really feel like? It kind of feels like a test run for what the new battle system is gonna be like in an actual mainline title. Okay, that's what this whole thing feels like. This feels like a test. Like, okay, do people like the battle system or not? I don't know. Give us 60, 70 bucks. Then you'll tell us. And honestly, like, I wouldn't even mind a game like this if it were like 50% cheaper, because for the scope of the game, for how tiny Lumio City is, And just for the fact that, like, I've only played, like, 10, 15 hours, I'm already almost at the end. I'm currently ranked C, so I'm getting close to finishing. If the game were just, like, $30 to $40, I think a lot of our people would be accepting of this. But the fact that it is, if you get the Switch 2 version, $70, and if you choose to get the DLC, that's an extra $30 on top of that. $100 if you get everything. But at the cheapest, $60. That's still way too much. Like, $60 is still too much, if you ask me. Now, I think a question that I did kind of want to pose, I guess like on myself, but also everyone else. Would you or would I play this game if it weren't Pokemon, but it were some other generic IP? And I think the answer for me is probably not. But the thing is like, you know, I grew up with Pokemon. I still remember getting Pokemon Blue when I was like 6 years old. I've been playing these games for most of my life, and I still enjoy them to some extent. And no matter how cheap and crappy the games look, they always end up being enjoyable and fun to some extent. But with that said, the Switch 2 edition for this game in particular is a straight up scam. Like, the fact that the only difference is that the graphics are up-resed and the frame rate is higher, like, that is genuinely a scam. Like, imagine if you're playing, I don't know, literally any other video game that isn't from Nintendo. Do you know how to change the graphics? You go into the options menu and you adjust the graphics slider. Oh, you want to adjust your frame rate? You can do that too in like 95% of other video games. But Nintendo, they're like, nah, how about you pay us $10 and we'll take care of that feature for you? Just mind-boggling. But anyway, let's move on to the tier list. I forgot to do this for Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. So I know Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 technically isn't a Switch 2 game, but like it is enhanced on Switch 2, so I guess I'll just say it's a part of the Switch 2 era. And man, where am I going to put this? I'm going to put it, this is an S tier. Like, I know the games are overpriced. I mean, that's just how it is for all these games. But as a game itself, it is still fantastic. I still really enjoy it. So we're going to throw it. Yeah, we're going to throw it in S tier. Screw it. We'll put it, I don't know if maybe it's better than Breath of the Wild. I don't know if I would say that. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, this is what we're really going over. Zelda, oh my god, Legends ZA, Legend of Zelda Pokemon Adventures. That's what this game is, right? Geez, I mean, I think I'm going to put it in B tier. I think this is a B tier. I would probably say, yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to put it underneath Mario Party. That's pretty sad. I'm putting it underneath Mario Party. Like, look, again, I've had fun with the game, but I don't know if I could really say it's better than Mario Party Jamboree as a package. At least Mario Party Jamboree has a lot more polish, and there's like tons of boards, lots of great mini games. Everything's actually animated nicely, where this just kind of looks like crap. Like, the game is fun, but it's just super unpolished. So yeah, you know what? It's going in low B tier.